Assalamu alaikum, family, peace, healing, and light. And welcome back to another episode of Healing with Angelica's podcast, where we discuss all things healing. And if you are new to the show, welcome, 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 beautiful souls. On today's show, we have a beautiful guest joining us today, my beloved brother, Tony Gibson, representing Dayton, hometown here. As we'll be discussing today's topic, self love is my superpower. Brother Tony, welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. How are you? You're muted. Turn the mute off, Brother Tony.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. It is an honor. Praise be to Allah. Now, for those who do not know my brother Tony Gibson, Brother Tony, do you mind letting our audience know just a little bit more about you?
No doubt for sure. My name is Tony Gibson. I've lived here in Dayton, Ohio for over 44 years. I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana. I have two beautiful children, Anthony Mott Gibson Jr. and then Zionda Gibson. They both live in Charlotte. And let me see what else about Tony. I have my own paint business here in the city called Spot On Painting. You need any painting, hit me up. But no, I'm just a guy that's here in the community doing what I can do to uplift, motivate my people all in general. So that's what Tony's about: helping and healing and serving and supporting.
I love it. I love it. Praise be to Allah, Tony. Thank you so much. Now let's get started on today's episode. Self-love is my superpower. And please, for my audience today, do not hesitate to ask my guests any questions. Any question that you may have, please put it in the comment box below. So, this topic is so exciting to me. And I actually found a profound statement that I love that I would like to share that goes deep into self love and why is it such a superpower, right?
No
So,
doubt.
yes, huh? I didn't hear you.
I said it's all right. I said I agree.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I have here self love is not just a journey, it's a profound transformation. It's the unwavering belief that you are deserving of love and respect, not only from others, but most importantly, from yourself. It's the practice of nurturing your own soul, forgiving your own mistakes, and celebrating your own uniqueness. In a world that often tells us to be someone else, self-love is the courage acts of being unapologetically you. And in that authenticity, you discover a deep, unshakable sense of worthiness that illuminates your path with a radiant light. Praise be to Allah. I love that so much. And that brings me to my first question for you, Brother Tony. We're going to go ahead and just start off from the beginning because this show is really we're going into your testimony and where your self-love journey began. So if you don't mind just letting us know, how did you start your self-love journey? How did that begin?
Okay. Well, we can. Where did my self journey begin? I used to say that my self journey began 3 years ago, but after I researched and kept on looking into it, my journey started the day I came out of my mom's womb.
Mm,
Even though I was a baby, didn't understand much, but everything that we go through in life will transform us as well as um, put us in a state of understanding of who we are.
mm,
So my self journey started when I would say this much. I put my self journey into effect, I say about 4 years ago.
mm,
I found myself in a young relationship at a very young age. I guess I say about 17 years old. Had my first child at the age of 18. At that point in time, my family, my mom was having some difficulties, so she had to leave town to get herself together. So it kind of left me here alone by myself. So I found myself in a young relationship. Like I say, I had my son at the age of 18. After my mom had left, I dropped out of school because there was no one to force me up out the bed to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So my father would, like I said, I'm from Indianapolis. My father stayed in Indianapolis. He came down and he had explained to me that I would not be able to do much for my son, which he was the age of, I think, at 1 year old at that time, 1 or 2 years old. Too much for my son without an education,
Mm-hmm.
without a high school diploma at least. So he had asked me to come down and live with him to finish school, which I didn't need too many credits. I got it all taken care of within a year. So after that journey, while I was there, my father introduced me to my Lord and Savior. That also kind of put me on a straight path. So once I got back here to Dayton, I got married at the age of 23.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a long relationship, and within that relationship, um, in any relationship, let alone a very young relationship, there were a lot of things that I didn't understand, a lot of things that I didn't know the ropes of. Anyone that get married, anyone that has a child or anything, life is a journey. Life is about learning. So I could only show what I was shown.
Mm-hmm.
And I come to realize that what I was shown or what I may have picked up from just looking and maybe watching was incorrect.
Yes.
I found myself very, I guess I would say, controlling. I was a very mean and ugly person. I'm just gonna keep it real honest with you because this is what this journey is about. I'm kind of nervous, but I know this is something that I'm supposed to share to help the people. And as I'm talking to the people, I'm still helping myself because it's an everyday journey. But
Yes.
I found myself by holding up the weight of a family at a young age. It put a lot of weight on me, put a lot of stress on me, and I found myself in a deep dark hole. For one, because I knew that I had some issues that I needed to tackle or to face, and I chose not to do it. I continued to run. I continued to say that I didn't need any assistance. I didn't need no help. No, I don't want to go talk to no one. And the day that I did go to speak to someone, it was the best decision that I ever made in my life. So that journey there started, I would say, 4 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
within that journey, there are phases within that journey.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Praise be to Allah. You had mentioned in the beginning that your mom left.
Mhm.
Do you mind me asking? I would like to know, like, how did her leaving, how do you believe her leaving played an effect in your self love journey?
Well, like I say, my mom left. I guess I was about, like I say, 18 years old. Just to go ahead and put the story out, because this is about transparency. Transparency is key. If we can't be honest with ourselves as well as others, then there's no growth. My mom was actually got caught up in the scheme of the crack cocaine era back in the early 80s and 90s, etc. So that was the reason for my mom leaving Dayton because she was kind of out on drugs. It was myself, my older brother, and two little sisters, as well as a younger brother.
Mm,
So the time that my mom left, I believe my little brother's about 5, both my sisters about 11 and 13 years old. So that was the time. Like I say, that's when my mom left, and that's what took place.
okay, okay. And knowing that she was in that condition and you knowing the reason why she left, how do you believe that it played a role in you just growing up and also you finding yourself now in your self love journey? Like, how did that play a role in it? Or if it did?
No doubt. Well, you know what? At the time, because I say I was caught up in a young relationship, so I was in my relationship. But most definitely, I was pretty happy that my mom left the city and went to the country to get herself together, get away from the people that she was around. Like I say, excuse me, sir, I shared with you earlier, I'd be having a million thoughts running through my head, but we're going to focus and we're going to get this done. Um, if I can totally be honest, like I said, I was happy that she left to get herself taken care of.
Okay.
I didn't realize until like 20 years later or plus. And if I just recently, not that I blame my mom or felt like she owed me something, but I didn't realize by, even though I was 18 years old, considered grown, I didn't realize that that was some type of trauma. It
Mm.
wasn't the fact that I didn't want to see it. I just didn't notice it. What I did miss and what I didn't like about the fact I didn't get a chance to grow up around my little brother. I didn't get a chance to grow up around my sisters. You know, it would have been nice for my mom to be here, but I was great. I was I was just happy that she left to go get herself together. So just recently, after researching myself and finding my self worth, my self love, I realized that I had to go back and visit that. I had to go back and realize the trauma effect that it put on me, not being around my siblings as well as my mom. And if I could be transparent, sis, it seemed like this journey has continued through my life.
Mm.
At this present time, I mentioned my two children. They're living in Charlotte now. I have two grandchildren. I just had my grandbaby about a month ago in September, and then I have a 1 year old grandson. So I'm asking myself and I'm asking my higher power, like, why is it that I feel like I've been set alone, set to the side? I feel like that I'm questioning, like, why do I need to be alone? So
Mm.
I would just like to throw this in there for anyone that feels like they've been left alone or they don't have any support or any love. I've come to find out that this was a part of my journey.
Yes.
It was a part of, I feel that if my mom and my sisters was here, it would have threw me off my path of who I'm becoming.
Yes.
So here it is, we get frustrated with the things that we go through in life. But I would like to encourage the ones that are listening to this here message, instead of getting so frustrated and worried about your circumstances that you may be in right now, try to be still and quiet all the noise and find out the reason why. Because
Mm.
everything that we go through in life is for a reason. And
Yes.
it's up to us to figure out what it is. So I figured out that it was meant for me to be alone. And that's why I'm in this place now of self love and doing what I'm doing. Not saying that I could not do that with my family, but God knows that it would have been some type of hindrance to it. So I've just learned to accept it.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that. And I love the fact that you use, and a lot of people, when they are faced with trials or anything that may be hindering them as what they think or suppose, we need to change our perspective of how we're looking at the situation, and you seeing the situation more so of a benefit for you because it took you into the journey of self-love. And like you said, everything that happens to us, no matter what, and this scripture always comes up in my mind. I want to say it's like Matthew's 18, but I'm probably not sure. But it was everything happens for the good of the Lord. Everything happens for the good of the Lord. I think I'm saying the scripture right. But anyway, that stays in my mind. Like anything that is going on in my life, anything that I'm seeing, it's like, okay, God, what do I need to learn from this? What do I got to do with this? What do you want me to do? Because certain situations that comes up in our life, I believe is either a lesson and or a blessing. But you're
No
getting
doubt.
that lesson because you're
Either
growing,
or.
right? So I love how you did not have a negative perspective around that, because anyone else would have took that and not learning how to take the bad situation and using it for your good. People are using bad situations and turning to other things to cope with whatever issues they may be going through. You're using this self-love journey as your superpower. What you're going through right now is a transformational journey, and I love that so much, Brother Tony. Praise be to Allah. I love that. So now you spoke about you getting married at a young age. Um,
Mhm.
And you were married for about, I want to say 30.
26 years. But no, 26 years. We were together for almost 30.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now that's a long time.
It
And
is.
within that time frame, do you mind just telling us exactly what it was that you were going through? And was it in that marriage that you seen that you needed to make more of a different approach when it comes to the way that you handle things and even handling yourself, going into your self-love journey?
Well, life itself. Life is going to throw you all kind of whammies and all kind of boomerangs. So life within itself is going to do that. But I found myself with the weight of the world, being a young husband, young father, working, providing, as well as growing and learning yourself. Things just got heavy for me. Like I said, I went back to say that I was in this state of mind of couldn't nobody tell me nothing. I didn't need any help and I didn't need any assistance.
Mhm.
And things had just got very heavy and hectic for me. This went on for a long time. You had mentioned something about instead of using things for the positive instead of the negative. I was once there. I found myself after going through this and things building up. I closed down,
Mhm.
and I'm not a person that like to talk a lot or just express my feelings. That's a lot of things that we all do. I don't like to express what's going on inside of me, so it got the best of me. Like I said, I know I needed some help. I know that I was going through some things. One day, things just got very heavy for me, and I called myself going to the mirror, which I tried to do many times before, to just look in that mirror. But a lot of times I ran from the mirror because I know once I got to the mirror, I know what I was going to see. I was going to
Mhm.
see that person that I didn't like, that person that I know that needed to make some changes. So that day that I went to the mirror and I looked and I said, I can't do this no more. I can't live like this. That's when I made the decision to go to speak to someone. But
Mhm.
like life itself, putting more on your plate than you can eat. And what I mean by that, having children at a young age. We need to be more cautious of that. We need to be more conscious of who we are connecting with.
Ooh.
And before we even put it on the kids and the person, we need to find out who we are ourselves
Yes.
before we even get into a relationship.
Talk.
Because if we don't know who we are ourselves, that's when we come into a relationship and we making all types of mistakes. We
Yes.
doing the things that we wish to do or we think needs to be done. But I can share with you, once you understand your self-love and self-worth, you will more so be able to handle a relationship, handle a child, because it's more so like if you love yourself, then you're gonna love who's before you. But if you
Yes.
don't love yourself, how can I love my child? How can I love my spouse? How can I treat someone fairly when I'm not even treating myself fairly? So self love and self worth is so important. So once I got that together, and we was on the runway about to take flight. Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
My gosh, I love that. And I'm so glad you brought that up because that us not knowing who we are, oh my gosh, that's so important. Like I stand on that. I stand on get to know who you are first. Know what you like, know what you dislike, know what you can handle. Like because I think that because we get so stuck into the emotional part, the need of wanting to be loved, we neglect loving ourselves. So
Most
we
definitely.
we're having these high expectations of others to fulfill a need that is not really even meant for them to fulfill. So it's beautiful that you brought that up and just being more cautious of who you're distributing your energy to as well because you don't know what that person's been through. And when you connect in such an intimate way and you're with someone for a long time, I really believe you end up becoming them in a way of taking on their baggage or taking on their hurt. So just us being mindful of who we connecting with, I think is important. So thank you for sharing that, Brother Tony. Now, you brought up, you went ahead and you seek some counseling, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to know, like, why is it important? Because I really believe that you will mostly see, I want to say, you'll mostly see women going to therapists, getting counseling, but you never really see Black men going to go get help or counseling. As a Black man yourself, do you mind letting us know what? I don't want to. Let me not put too many questions on you.
Let's go. Let's go, sisters.
I would like to know actually how did therapy benefit you, and why should Black men seek counseling?
All right, just for my Black men out there. Why should us Black men seek counseling? We should seek counseling because we are the leaders of our family. We
Mm,
are the leaders of our community. And if we don't have ourselves together, how can we lead?
ooh,
Whether if you go talk to a therapist or you just have a good friend to talk to, I feel that there's that we have to let out the things that suppress us or makes us unhappy. Like I stated earlier, I allowed it to build up inside of me,
mm,
and I about exploded. I can go into some other things. I was on the verge of like committing suicide. I just put it out there that the things had got so heavy.
yes.
And if we look into today's times, that's a lot of things that are going on. People are just taking themselves out because they choose not to talk. So
Mm,
for us Black men, it is okay to say that I'm not okay. It's okay to go seek help. It's okay to get that person that you can trust. Now let's talk on that word trust. We
mm,
know as a Black race, we do not trust worth nothing. So here it is again within learning self-healing and love for yourself. We have to be we have to prepare ourselves to be available for those ones that come that needs help. And
yes.
not only when they come from for help, that they can trust in us and know that it's me and you, this will not go anywhere else.
Mm,
But most definitely, it is very vital for us to seek our uh, to seek counseling if we need that, if things are not going right, or if you have too many mental thoughts that are negative in your head, you most definitely need to get those taken care of. Yes,
mm.
ma'am.
I love it. I love it. Praise be to Allah. And if you all are enjoying this episode just as well as I am, oh my gosh, you have been giving us so much light with your testimony, Brother Tony. Thank you so much. Please, 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 you guys, show your support and donate today to Cash App $ Healing with Angelica to help sustain future episodes just like this. Also, if you all are enjoying all of the broadcasts here on CTGB Network, please show your support as well by donating today. Information to donate will be shown on the screen below. I love you all. Now let's get back to today's show. Self love is my superpower with Tony Gibson. All right, Brother Tony. Wow. So I'm so glad that you brought up the fact of why Black men, especially Black men in general, needs to go ahead and seek counseling and letting Black men know that it's okay, because I believe that the society has stereotyped Black men to not be able to express themselves in an emotional way, want to be hard all the time. And there's nothing wrong with, I guess, being hard, but if it's affecting your life, then it's a problem, right? So I'm
I
grateful
agree.
you spoke on that. So as we are speaking about your self-love journey, and
Could, could,
yeah,
could I add something to that, sister? Well,
go
to
right,
what you just said.
go right
When
ahead.
you said about us being so hard, that is a true statement. That is another thing I would like to get off to my men while we're here.
Yeah, go ahead.
We do act extremely hard. We act hard towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
Us as black men, men in general, we need to learn how to acknowledge one another. We need to learn how to know that it's okay if I look at you, I ain't trying to fight you. I'm just looking, you know. I mean, we I've seen people, or especially older people, they see a younger guy or younger person and they hold their head down because of fear of what this young man may do to them or just
Mm-hmm.
afraid of them. But us people as men, we need to learn how to love one another. We
Mm.
need to loosen up some. You mentioned something about both sides. As a man, I'm gonna school you today. We need our feminine side and our masculine side. He's like, what you talking about, feminine side? That's what's wrong with us.
Talk about
That's
it.
why we are so hard. We are unbalanced.
Ooh.
We are just balanced to the hard side. But say, friends, I'm gonna give you an instance here. You have a baby girl that's learning to ride her bike. She's riding her bike and she falls and she scrapes her knee. You ain't gonna run up to her, get up, try it again. Oh, baby, are you okay, baby girl? That's our feminine side.
Yeah.
Now, when the boy fall, it might be a little something different. Come on, man, get up. That's it all. Keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Same for relationships. Instead of being so hard towards our loved one, our spouse, our girlfriend, or whatever relationship we're in, we need to create that hard side for protection, providing, being that man of the household. And then we need that nurturing side where we can love them, be compassionate, and be understanding. So
Ooh.
here it is, man. That's a keynote right there. Learn how to balance the two because that's what life is about a balance. If you can do that, I guarantee you, you'll like that.
Ooh, I love that you brought that up. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh. And I listen, ooh, it just makes me think of the fact that like you see a lot of our men and women nowadays, and I see where women are using more of their masculine side more than their feminine side, their soft side, and vice versa with the men. And it's really, I feel like we're really putting ourselves out of character, out of our roles when we do that.
Mhm.
But then it all goes back to just, to me, the family structure and what happens in the home, how you grew up, what did you see? You know, why do you have to put on this guard and feel like you have to protect yourself? So you got to be hard. And I know me as a woman, I'm working on that as well. Just, you know, trying to not trying to be okay with being in my feminine side because of just things that I've been through before. And a lot of that goes back to just trauma that we've been through that puts a wall up, you know, especially for women, but men too, that makes them either more masculine and not even enter into their feminine side as a man, or as women as well. I believe they become more masculine and it barely even think about their feminine side. So it's very important that we also learn to balance those sides within us. So thank you for speaking on that, brother Tony. Now I know you have spoke on when you were going through the transformation and how things were getting heavy for you at that time, and you thought you contemplated suicide at the time. What I want to know, just like, because a lot of people contemplate.
Consequence.
Con-
Mhm.
yeah,
We understand, sister.
contemplate.
Me too. Yeah.
So they think about suicide, and some actually attempt it and do it. But then you have ones that actually find their saving grace and going to therapy and that matter. Like, so I just want to know, like, what advice would you give? And I'm not downplaying the older men, but I'm seeing this a lot in the younger generation, the younger community, wanting to give up, wanting to, end it all. Like, what advice would you give to a young man that is struggling with depression?
Okay. Like I say, first of all, you need to find that trusting person that you can talk to. That's first and foremost. I mean, that's very important. But until then, if you find yourself not being able to go to someone or do not know anyone that you can go to, the advice that I will give is try to be still as possible. When I say be still, isolate yourself from everything that's going on around you. Not just the public. Isolate yourself from that cell phone. Isolate yourself from the television. Isolate yourself from the music that you listen to.
Mm,
Matter of fact, before all that, research and see what type of music are you listening to? What
mm,
type of shows are you watching? What type of people are you hanging around? And I've come to find out once we isolate ourselves and quiet down all the noise, then those answers that we need, whether if it's someone that we need to talk to or just what step is next, by the noise being quiet down, we can hear. Our
mm,
conscious is very much alive. And within gaining your self love and self worth and keeping all the noise down, you will have a spirit that will speak to you clearer than me and you are speaking right now.
mm.
Matter of fact, it already speaks to us, but we choose to be like, no, I don't want to hear that. Because when we about to do something we ain't got no business doing, our conscious like, you're not supposed to be doing that. You know what I mean? So we already have that voice speaking to us. It's
Mm,
whether or not are we listening to the voice.
mm.
So I would just advise them to slow it down because the world moves so fast. If we try to keep up with it, matter of fact, we do try to keep up with it. That's why
Oh,
we end up so lost. So here it is again. Slow it down, quiet the noise, seek someone trusting that you can speak to, and that'd be the start. I
amen.
also would like to say you really can't, I ain't gonna say you can't speak to someone that hasn't been through it. I guess I just leave it at speak to someone that you can very much trust.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's so important to get in silence because even like you said, there's so many distractions and
Mhm.
we be so on the go. Like we've have I feel like we've been programmed to be on autopilot all the time. So
Mhm.
if you are feeling depressed, I mean, how are you gonna know what's even going on while you're feeling this way if you don't take a step back and just reflect and just hold on, wait, let me pause, let me just marinate on what's going on right now.
Mhm.
Because something, even with the feminine and male side, something is out of balance. So when you're feeling that way, what something is out of
So
balance,
wrong.
right?
Mhm.
I didn't know.
Mhm.
Did you want to
That
say?
is-
Oh, it sounded like you wanted. Did you want to say something? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
all right, sister.
I just wanted to make sure. I thought you had something to say. So yes, it's so important to draw back because, like I said, this world can get very very distracting. So thank you for that beautiful advice, Brother Gibson. So
I will add this, sis.
yeah.
I will add that I know because I've been through it myself, and I speak from experience. That's where all this is coming from. Instead of running to talk to someone, we run to the bottle. We run to the marijuana. We run to the things that keep us numb from facing the things that we need to face. So
Mm,
I was just like to also add that into it. Instead of running to the alcohol and the drugs, try to throw that to the side and go seek help. Because the longer that we find ourselves using drugs to ignore the pain and the confusion that we're feeling, the deeper in the hole that we're going to go. And like I said, that's where I was. I was over medicating every day. I would go to work and come up in my bedroom, shut my door, and drink and smoke my life away from my family. And I believe I did this for over a year or so. Yeah. So I know for a fact if I wouldn't have sought help at the time that I did, either I would not be here,
mm,
or I would have had some serious mental health issues. Now, when we speak the word mental health, people get scared of that.
Mm,
Mental health only comes when we do not face what we are dealing with.
mm,
Say, for instance, depression can turn to something different. By me not handling my depressed stage, it has turned into something else, whether it be an alcoholic, a sex head, or whatever. There are many things that we can get caught up in. So yeah, it's very important that we just stay focused and seek some help for sure.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's a lot of us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of our people, we want to numb the pain. We
Mm-hmm.
don't want to deal with it. That's the problem. We're not trying to deal with it. Like, I'd rather just smoke or drink or do whatever, something that gives me a dopamine hit, makes me feel good real quick for the moment, and then we're constantly still building up the actual problem because we
Mm-hmm.
haven't addressed it. So that goes back to the importance of seeking help, the importance of seeking therapy, and that's for all of us. But because we're talking about your self-love journey, Brother Gibson, I want to really get this to our Black men as well.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's talk about, before we end the show here, I want to talk about just how has life been for you since you made that conscious decision to start your self-love journey and actually put it into application.
It's been beautiful. It's been beautiful. I'm now 50 years old, and this is the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Mm,
Self-love and self-worth is very important. Once you learn self-love for thyself, you will see life from a whole different perspective. Not only that, you would treat yourself totally different.
mm,
You would treat yourself totally different. Not only will you treat yourself different, your mind, you would transform from the way you eat, the way you sleep. You would look at things being more important, like working out, as well as loving others.
mm.
My This journey that I've been on has been amazing. I'm very blessed to be here. I'm very blessed to be doing what I'm doing. I know this is my calling. Like I said, I'm a very closed off person. I've always been to myself, but God has told me that there are too many people out here that's hurting. I
Mm,
see it every day. I go to the stores. I see people, you see the expression on their face of sadness.
yeah.
I can walk around now with a smile on my face for no reason. I can remember not smiling. I can remember this right here. I used to be frowned up 24/7, every day, all day. And just one day recently, it's been a while, I looked in the mirror. It was to a point I was starting to get wrinkles.
Oh, Lord.
And I looked at myself and I was like, I don't have that frown upon my forehead anymore. I can look at my pictures now and I can see myself smiling. I can now see myself enjoying life a little better. I lived like I lived so dark in a dark place that it was pitiful. For the ones that are living in that dark space, and we were just talking about self-medicating or whatever, there's light on the other side. I have this saying, it's me versus me. This don't have nothing to do with nobody else. What do you want out of life? How do you want to live? Do you want to smile? Do you want to have true, I'll say happiness, but I'm going to change that word, true joy? Do you want to experience true joy? Being on this side of happiness, self-worth, self-love, it's an amazing journey. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm here as Essential Love to teach and promote, show by action what it's about. and whoever wants to come along with me, I'll take you for the ride. We can get in the car together. I never want to be the person that feel like I know everything, because I don't. You teach me, I teach you. We teach each other. That old saying, it still takes a village.
Yes.
We find ourselves in darkness and dark spaces because we feel that we can do it on our own and we do not need help.
Mm.
But I think I heard you. I was listening to one of your words the other day. I think one of your reels. If you know you need help out here, ask for help. Whether if that's in relationship, raising a child, personal growth, or what it is, because a closed mouth will not get fed.
Ooh. Okay. Praise be to Allah. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's so important. And like I said, I noticed that too, and I had to speak on that because I used to be one of them. And it'd be my ego in the way. Like, nah, I ain't asking for no. Like, try to get it out the mud. I am not trying to keep getting nothing out the mud. I need
Right.
help. And we have to
Mhm.
be open enough to ask for help and look at our brothers and sisters as we look at ourselves with love and with compassion, because even that makes me think about the show that I did with one sister when we was talking about pe- people are your resource. You know, like if something's going on in your life, I would just really feel like it's so many people out here in the world. There shouldn't be no one you can call on. There should be
Mhm.
someone you can call on. Of course, my first person to call on is Allah God.
True that. Mhm.
However, seeking therapy or seeking someone that may have went through the same experiences, and I believe a lot of God puts us in certain experiences, even like what you're going through, to help others. Because I'm pretty sure someone else just like you out here, Brother Gibson, that's going through what you're going through and didn't have someone to help them up, help them, get them the light so they can see that there is light on the other side. So
Mhm.
I want to talk about just real quick. So what are some things that you've been doing, like in regards to just keeping your spirit lifted, um embodying that spirit of self-love? Like what are some things that you do that you can let us know that you do, and possibly, giving some advice of what people can start doing? I don't know, get out in nature, go ground, meditate. What have you started to do that has been
You,
helping with your self love?
you said a mouthful right there, sis. Matter of fact, I do the nature. I love nature. My father taught me about nature. He taught me the power of the water. So I like to share that with the people. Say my water. Okay, yeah, drinking water, because that flushes out a lot of toxins, and you'd be amazed what the toxics that's in our bodies will allow our mind to think or not be able to process.
Mm,
I get out into the wilderness, like I say, the water. I meditate. I listen to soft music. I
mm,
quiet down the noise. Believe it or not, the foods that we partake, it's very vital. You eat a nice heavy meal with the salts and etc., just the real heavy meals. Then right after we eat, we find ourselves tired. We want to go to sleep,
mm,
and we're not worth anything. By changing our diets, eating our fruits and our vegetables, you'll be amazed on not only that you do not get tired, you have energy. You're ready
mm.
to go. You are excited for life. Um, Let me see, what else do Tony do? I make sure that I always surround myself with healthy people. Well, it's healthy food. There's such thing as healthy people and unhealthy people.
Yep.
We can discern who's who and what's what. What else do Tony do? I would say that's about it. Listen to some sort of soft meditating music. I listen to, I would say, I am affirmations, because here it again, you had spoke earlier about our own belief of who we are ourselves, or the self love that we have for ourselves. So sometimes we have to, ain't no sometimes, all the time, we got to put it into us who we are. I am great. I am worthy. I am beautiful. So it's those type of things. Not only that, when we wake up in the morning, stay positive.
Yes.
First thing when you wake up in the morning, your mind automatically go to the negative. Actually, I forgot to plug my phone up last night. So when I woke up and I went to grab my phone, I found that it was dead. My first thought in my mind was like, did I miss any important phone calls? Is my brother okay? Or, and I just got a whole bunch of things. And I had to like, Tony, no, calm down, plug your phone up. It's okay. We'll worry about that in a minute. But I think sometimes we just over process things. But for the most part, just quiet noise, being still, and just go with inside yourself and ask your higher power, what do I need? Who am I? Who shall I be around?
Mm-hmm.
Who is my circle? And when we are sincere about that, and if we have our ear and the noises down, we will be guided to the right direction.
Mm.
Mhm.
I love that. I love that. When you were just talking and you brought up the situation of, sometimes, not sometimes, for the most part, we wake up already in a state of anxiousness. How
Mhm.
do this, I gotta do that, I gotta get this done. Like, oh my gosh, like you're already overwhelmed. Like, you ain't drinking no water yet, So,
Mhm.
like, and when you said that you had to tell yourself, hold on, wait, Tony, calm down, everything's cool. You told yourself that because you were self aware of what was going on. A lot of us is not self aware of
Mhm.
what's going on and what's taking place. And I believe that when you go into this journey of getting to know thyself, you're able to even spot or notice the things that trigger you. And I think that is the greatest thing that one could obtain is through the knowledge of self is also awareness. So you can feel like, okay, I don't need to be in here. Something's off. You eating this food. I'm tired now. Maybe I shouldn't eat this food no more.
Mhm.
And then you start noticing like, oh, this is how I feel when I meditate. This is how I feel when I eat strawberries and blueberries. Oh my gosh. Because now you're aware. But all of that also goes back into you learning how to love yourself. Because if you didn't love yourself, you wouldn't care about nothing else. You wouldn't care about eating good foods or being aware of anything. You would have hopped on that phone, you would have ate you whatever you probably shouldn't have ate.
Mhm.
But because you love yourself enough, you open yourself up to be more aware. So I just want to talk about real quick. I just want to ask you, how has being on this journey, because I'm pretty sure before you actually got on this journey of just self-love, you wasn't as aware. You wasn't really paying attention of what was going on. So how did this self-love journey open your awareness?
How did the self-love journey open my awareness? Like I stated earlier, once we connect to ourselves, those are things that just automatically come. If I be totally honest, once I learned love for myself, I've always kind of ate healthy.
Okay.
I've always kind of been a gym freak. I kid you not. Once I connected, now this is how I'm gonna put it. Once I connected, I was told in my spirit, you need more vitamin D. You need to drink more water. You need more vitamin C. I mean, people might think I'm like half crazy, which is fine with me. But once you connect, there's a spirit that's already in us. I'm gonna say we all already carry it. We
Yes.
just got to clean it up. We just got to get all the murk off of it. Clean ourselves up. Like we're talking about the food. The foods that we ingest will cause us to think cloudy. Not to
Boom.
even think about the drugs and the alcohol. We're just talking about food. Not even to mention the air that we breathe. That's a whole other conversation. But if you just connect, take your time and connect, you will have the key to life.
Ooh.
You will have the key to understanding what you need in your life to be free, whether that's from the food, the alcohol, the self-serving, or whatever it may be. All we got to do is take our time, connect, and request it, because it's for all of us. You know, we have people out here that want to be jealous because this person looked like this or got that, or you can have it too.
Mm.
God has given it to us all. There are just other people that chose to work on themselves to get to where they are, whether that's a job, self-healing, etc. Because there are many stages. I look at life as a school.
Yes.
A school. You know, we think we get up, graduate from 12th grade, or get our degree up out of college. Education is over. We
Mm.
will learn to the day we die. Matter of fact, every day that we wake up, we should learn something new. Point blank. Period. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about that. I kind of lost my space a little bit, but that's okay.
You're fine. Go listen. Take your time.
No doubt. But I'm so sorry, sis. What was that question?
Oh no, you're fine. I just wanted to know how does awareness, well, how did I say that? I think I said, how did self-love open your awareness? Yeah, self-love, how did it open your awareness?
It's just something that just happens. So
Like,
once you connect to the higher frequency, it's just something that's automatic.
exactly.
It's something I can't explain it at this present time, but it's just something that takes place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And I think you answered it great the first time. So I like how you broke that down. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that, brother Tony. Thank you so much for joining us today and discussing this beautiful testimony. Self love is my superpower. I would also like to thank my amazing audience in Healing Tribe for joining us today. I pray that this episode was informative, valuable, and healing to you all. Also, be sure to share, like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes on your favorite podcast station. Closing the Gap broadcast on Facebook and CTG broadcast on YouTube. And Healing with Angelica podcast on Facebook and YouTube to help spread the message of healing like wildfire to those in need of healing. Also, if you are ready to start your healing journey and don't know where to start, Healing with Angelica is here to assist as I am offering a 90-minute consultation call to help get you started on your journey. More information to schedule will be in the show description below, including Healing with Angelica merch and more, with additional information of today's guest, Brother Tony Gibson. And also, before we end today's show, I would like to give a special recognition to those that have contributed to making Healing with Angelica what it is today. Special recognition to Brother Roscoe, Brother Brad X, and Sister Soldier Sanique, and also Sister Mariam Muhammad. Praise be to Allah, and I appreciate you so, so, so much. And also, before we end the show, I will also, and it should be in the description box as well. Please, 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 if you know anyone out here that is in need of prayer, anyone that needs just some words of encouragement, please, please, please email heal with Angelica at YouTube. No, not YouTube, sorry, at yahoo.com. And so we can give them prayers. So if you know anyone that is in need of prayer, just, you know, email us and we will be shouting them out and giving them some prayers. So praise be to Allah. And Brother Tony, before we end today's show, do you have any closing remarks for our audience today?
Well, all of them let the audience know today that you can do it. It's possible, regardless of what the circumstances are. I know it might be very dark. It was very dark for me once upon a time. I would just like to encourage you all to let you know that you can do it. You can make it. Seek help. Find that trusting person. Happiness, excuse me, joy is on the other side. So
Mm.
if you want to make it, we have people out here that can assist you in doing that. It can be done. And sis, I'd like to thank you for giving me this time, this opportunity to share my story. I see my forehead all shiny and I'm sweating or whatever, but it's all good. I'm glad we got it done, and I'm very excited for what my future holds. And this is what I'm dedicated to. So, my brothers out there, if there's anything that I can do for you, any assistance, if you need an ear of anything, I'm here. I'm very trustworthy. You can trust me. I lay my life down according to the man upstairs. I'm sincere about what I do. I know my calling, and I'm putting my foot to the gas all the way down to the floor. This is it. I love y'all. I appreciate this space. I wish you blessings, and I will be sending some over for the podcast, and so you can continue to do what you're doing. I'm very thankful for you. I pray that you will continue to do what you are doing for the people, and I'm glad that we uh, cross paths. You know,
Yes.
I had several people, a list of podcasts, people with podcasts to do an interview with, and you were my very first one. So going forward, I look forward to just doing what I do, and I remember you for the rest of my life. I thank you.
All praises are due to Allah, Brother Tony. I am so grateful that, again, you even trusted me enough to come on here and share your testimony. And likewise, it's a pleasure to meet you, pleasure to connect with you. And I know Allah God has so much in store for you. Just keep doing the work. What you're doing is beautiful. Get out here, keep sharing your testimony, keep letting our people know that they can get through whatever they are going through, no matter what. And that's how self-love comes in, and that is how that is your superpower. You're using self-love as a superpower and spreading it to the world. So I love it, Brother Tony. Thank you so much again for joining me today. And my beautiful audience, I love you all. I truly, truly do. And we'll see you next time. And we leave you all as we came. Assalamu alaikum. Peace, healing, and light.